Hello again, it's Monique from nowyourcooking.ca, and today I'm going to show you how to make a big hearty bowl of Jamaican style pumpkin beef soup. This soup was a common meal for Saturday dinners growing up, and I know you'll love it just as much as I do. Here's everything that you'll need. About 450 grams of boneless beef, a couple cloves of garlic, an onion, a potato, a Jamaican sweet potato, white or yellow yam, 1 bay leaf, some pimento seeds, a Scotch bonnet pepper, 2 carrots, 2 packages of soup mix, a couple sprigs of thyme, a stalk of scallion or green onions, and of course, a hunkin' piece of Jamaican pumpkin. Don't forget the salt and pepper. I've only ever used Grace brand soup mix for this recipe, #not sponsored, and usually mix their pumpkin beef soup mix with their cock soup mix. They come with seasoning and noodles, which add more dimension to the dish. If you can't find this, you could use a couple bouillon cubes instead. The first thing you want to do is chop up all your provisions into large chunks. What gives the soup its rich orange color is the pumpkin, and using a Caribbean pumpkin or calabaza is a must for this recipe. Chopping this could be a pain because of its thick skin, but this is how I do it. When I'm unable to get it pre-chopped from the grocery store, I cut it into large sections. Then I'm able to easily slice off the skin with my knife and proceed to chop it into smaller cubes. As these pieces boil in the soup, they'll get soft and lose their structure, which is what you want, so that you get a nice, thick, flavorful soup. So feel free to dice these into smaller pieces to speed up the process. Carrots are another vegetable that helps with the color, but these don't need to be cut too small. Discs are fine. If you have one that's too thick, you could chop it in half like this. Jamaican sweet potatoes have red skins and are lighter on the inside than North American sweet potatoes. I love these in soups. They tend to cook a lot faster than other root vegetables, so that's why I slice them into larger discs and put them in near the end of the cooking process. The grocery store didn't have any yellow yams, so the white one will do. Yams can be a bit slippery, so that's why I'm using a paper towel to help hold it. Potatoes I usually chop in half and then cut each half into 6 sections. Feel free to use different provisions for your soup. I've added chocho, also known as chayote, edos, cassava, and even cobbed corn before too. If you're using starchy root veg like potatoes and yams, be sure to keep them in a bowl of cold water as you prep. This will help keep it from discoloring and also help rinse off some of the extra starch. Remember to chop up your onion and garlic too. Now that the prep work is done, you could begin to cook up the soup. Bring about 2 liters or 8 cups of water to a boil in a large pot over medium-high heat. Add in your cleaned beef cubes to the boiling water, along with your pumpkin, onions, and garlic. Partially cover the pot and let it cook over medium heat for about 45 minutes until the pumpkin has softened. Give your soup a good stir. You should notice that your pumpkin is nice and soft. To test, just press on it with the back of a spoon. If it doesn't smoosh easily, then continue to cook for another 15 minutes or so. Like I mentioned before, you want the pumpkin to be soft and dissolved, so feel free to go in and mash up any whole chunks that you see, or continue to cook your soup for a little while longer. Now you could add in your chopped carrots, your potatoes, and your yam. Add a teaspoon of salt in at this point for some added flavor too. If you want to play Russian roulette, add in a whole Scotch bonnet or habanero pepper and pray that it doesn't burst in the soup as it's boiling. Dash in all those sprigs of thyme, the bay leaf, and pimento seeds, also known as allspice. When it comes to the scallion or green onions, you want to bruise it before adding it into the pot in order to help release more of the flavor into the soup. You could beat it with a blunt object on a cutting board, or what I do is just squeeze it with the back of my knife blade. Add it in whole. Pour in the remaining liter or 4 cups of water, stir, and bring to a boil. Allow everything to cook over medium heat for 15 more minutes. Now you gotta have dumplings when you're making this soup, so while your provisions are cooking, you could prep these. You'll need about 1.5 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and enough water to form a dough. I'm using a spoon to start the mix because I hate getting my hands all doughy. You want to ensure that your dough isn't too sticky or too crumbly. Just wait a few more minutes before adding these to the pot. Now that the root vegetables have had some time to soften, we could add in the last few ingredients. I put in the sweet potato near the end of the cooking process because it has a tendency to mush up. So giving it 15 minutes to cook seems to be a good time frame. At this point, you'll also want to pour in your soup mixes, stirring as you add it in so that the noodles don't clump up. And then finally your dumplings, or in this case spinners, which are long and thin dumplings that are added to soups and stews. All you gotta do to form these is just pinch off a piece of dough in your hands and roll into small log shapes. Keep on going until all your dough is done. Oh look, my pepper didn't burst. Allow this to cook covered over medium heat, stirring occasionally for 15 more minutes. Add in salt and pepper to taste and discard your thyme spring, scallion, and Scotch bonnet pepper before serving. This soup is full of chunks of tasty vegetables and so much flavor. If you're a vegetarian, you could omit the beef entirely and it will come out tasting just as good. Such a delicious hearty soup, perfect for any weeknight dinner. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this recipe. You could follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And for the full recipe, visit nowyourcooking.ca. Bye for now.